at the announcement of the Academy Award nominations in 2013, as he named the contenders for Best Supporting Actress. Actor and producer Seth MacFarlane joked, "Congratulations, you five ladies no longer have to pretend to be attracted to Harvey Weinstein." While the line was a throwaway, and the audience only a fraction of the 70 million who would eventually watch the Oscar telecast, it still illuminates the extent to which Weinstein's no-exposed behavior was known in some parts of Hollywood. Many now say they did not know, and perhaps they did not. Others never spoke because Weinstein sat at the heart of a confluence of power, commerce and charisma. Actress Glenn Close was one of the few who has acknowledged hearing vague rumors of a pattern of behaving inappropriately. In the last 7 days, the empire of Tinseltown's kingmaker has been smashed into fragments, exploded from within by devastating testimony delivered by women who knew him across many decades in a series of disturbing reports in The New York Times and The New Yorker. To briefly summarize allegations of sexual harassment and rape, that Weinstein would grab and fondle women, coerce them into hotel rooms, and various scenarios involving bathrobes, baths and massages. In some cases, Weinstein stands accused of forcing women into sex. One extraordinary account said Weinstein, having been rejected by the journalist Lauren Sivan in a New York restaurant, then masturbated into a nearby pot plant. The first slab of reportage, from New York Times reporters Jodi Kantor and Megan Twohey, detailed at least 8 settlements with Weinstein's past accusers, testimony from actress Ashley Judd of a meeting with Weinstein which followed the hotel bathrobe massage script, and details of a settlement with actress Rose McGowan. A second bombshell dropped several days later, a report in The New Yorker from journalist Ronan Farrow, the son of actress Mia Farrow and director Woody Allen, which added layers of devastating detail, including rape allegations from 3 women, 2 of whom were named. For one long moment after the story broke, the noisiest town on earth was silent, being a victim. "I felt responsible," Italian actress Asia Argento told Farrow, "because if I were a strong woman I would have kicked him in the balls and run away. But I didn't. And so I felt responsible." It included audio of a police wiretap of another encounter with Weinstein, in which he attempted to coerce a model into entering his hotel room. Actresses Gwyneth Paltrow, Rosanna Arquette, Mira Sorvino, Rose McGowan, Angelina Jolie, Pitt, Asia Argento and Ashley Judd have spoken out against Weinstein. Photo at the report also included testimony from Oscar winner Mira Sorvino and actress Rosanna Arquette, both of whom say they felt they were blocked from obtaining work as actresses because they had rejected Weinstein. And then came statements from actresses Angelina Jolie, Gwyneth Paltrow, Cara Delevingne and others, who all told stories of his unwanted advances. Movie mogul Harvey Weinstein denies the allegations. Photo app Jolie, arguably the most powerful actress in Hollywood, said she chose never to work with Weinstein again and warned others when they did. "This behavior towards women in any field, any country, is unacceptable." For one long moment the noisiest town on earth was silent. But when Hollywood cleared its throat, there was a who's who of film, power and politics over-talking each other to express disgust, disdain, anger and, in some cases, plead ignorance to what many have described as an open secret. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Melissa Fumero, Terry Crews, Andy Samberg, Andre Braugher, Stephanie Beatrice, Joe Lotralio, Chelsea Peretti. Photo Beth Dubbed. The behavior is inexcusable. But the abuse of power familiar, Meryl Streep said. Horrifying, said Dame Judi Dench. The Obamas and Hillary Clinton voiced their disgust. U.S. President Donald Trump, who himself has been accused of sexual harassment, said he was not at all surprised. Glenn Close spoke candidly of feeling angry and darkly sad about the conspiracy of silence around his actions. "Ours is an industry in which very few actors are indispensable, and women are cast in far fewer roles than men, so the stakes are higher for women and make them more vulnerable to the manipulations of a predator." Hollywood, for all its tinsel and discarnate glamour, is, in truth, a vast institution built on a fundamental inequity of power, a structure it shares with other institutions such as the Catholic Church, the media establishment and the world of politics. In the last decade, a handful of titans have fallen. Comedian Bill Cosby, accused by more than 50 women of rape, drug-facilitated sexual assault and sexual misconduct. Fox News chief Roger Ailes, who was sacked with a $40 million handshake after more than half a dozen accounts of sexual harassment came to light, and Fox News anchor Bill O'Reilly, who was sacked after details of 5 sexual harassment lawsuit settlements totaling $13 million became public. Perhaps the highest-profile case, but one never tested in court, is that of Trump, who has been accused of sexual assault and sexual harassment by at least 15 women since the 1980s, including ex-wife Ivana. During his election campaign, footage surfaced from 2005 in which Trump claimed that, because he was a celebrity, he could do anything to women, including grabbing them by the pussy. Fox News chief Roger Ailes was sacked after more than half a dozen accounts of sexual harassment came to light. Photo app. The problem, says journalist Ronan Farrow, is not Hollywood. I don't think this is about Harvey Weinstein. I don't think this is about the film industry, ultimately, Farrow says. The abuse of power is a phenomenon we see over and over again in industry after industry. This is about a culture of silence around powerful men. Farrow said one of the biggest hurdles to bringing his 10-month investigation into the open was the human infrastructure around such men, engineered to shame victims into silence, such as PR teams who smear people publicly and aggressive non-disclosure agreements and settlements. Farrow, describing those agreements as part of a fusillade of attacks that women face when they speak out, said the New Yorker article excluded the testimony of one woman who withdrew because Weinstein's lawyers were coming after her. She withdrew from the piece and her story is not in there, but that is a woman with a serious allegation. Another telling illustration of the power wielded by those who rule such institutions came to light through the voice of one-man actor Terry Crews, who revealed an incident in which he was physically groped by a male studio executive. Crews, a 190 centimeters (110 kilo) former footballer who could intimidate simply by standing up, said he thought twice about retaliating at the time because he did not want to be ostracized. Such an action is par for the course when the predator has power and influence, he said. I let it go, Crews added. And I understand why many women who this happens to let it go. Harvey Weinstein is not the only perpetrator. Hollywood is not the only business where this happens. Hollywood's marketing model is built on secrecy, the not always accurate notion that the PR machine can wield control over what is seen and heard. While the Weinstein case is an extreme one, the city's celebrity culture is nevertheless a Pandora's box of half-truths, where whispers about the private lives of the rich and famous, such as hidden sexualities and infidelities, are every day. The suggestion that everyone knew about Weinstein doesn't quite bear out, though it is plain that people who worked with Weinstein, and many who worked at the Weinstein Company, did. Complicating the issue further, Weinstein's victims often had to keep working with him. These are women who, at times, were very enmeshed with Mr. Weinstein and his business, Farrow says. While the right wing of the commentariat has been quick to frame the Weinstein scandal as a malaise deep in the DNA of the left, that fails to explain how powerful right-wing media figures such as Ailes and O'Reilly, who were also accused of sexual harassment, survived in companies staffed by journalists. Farrow says the conspiracy of silence haunts those who have become unwilling participants in it. I talked to multiple Weinstein employees who said, "We saw fear in these women's eyes," he says. That is something that haunted a lot of these people. None of them quit as a result. I think that haunted them too. Even still to this day, some of them spoke only anonymously. So this is a tough issue. The damage to Weinstein is almost total destruction. He has been sacked by the company that bears his name, and the company is now looking to change its name. His credits have been erased from some television programs the company makes and will be excluded from future films, though the legalities of that remain unclear. A $5 million pledge from Weinstein for an endowment for female filmmakers at the University of Southern California's School of Cinematic Arts has been returned, and Weinstein's membership in the British film industry body BAFTA has been suspended. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, who vote for the Oscars, have called an emergency meeting this weekend where, no doubt, suspension or expulsion will be tabled. Weinstein denies the allegations and said some of the relationships, such as they were consensual. His initial move, hiring attorney Lisa Bloom, who is more famous for representing victims of sexual abuse, not those accused of perpetrating it, proved disastrous. Bloom later quit, saying the far more serious allegations were not made known to her. Weinstein has now retained the crisis PR company Citric & Company, which has handled clerical sex abuse scandals for the Catholic Archdiocese of Los Angeles. What happens next is difficult to divine. According to some reports, Weinstein is lawyering up. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office has said it is happy to speak to anyone who wants to make a statement to them, suggesting the accusations could ultimately be tested in criminal courts. Weinstein's own statement says he has begun counseling, listened to the community and is pursuing a better path. Mr. Weinstein is hoping that, if he makes enough progress, he will be given a second chance. But a second chance seems remote while there is still anger and resentment over the accusations and the conspiracies of silence which for so long suppressed them, kept Weinstein, Ailes, O'Reilly and Cosby out of reach for decades, and even now insulate Trump from answering his own accusers. Even as a punchline, every mark matters. MacFarlane's Oscar joke was actually a swing on behalf of actress Jessica Barth, who had confided in MacFarlane 2 years earlier about her brush with Weinstein. MacFarlane revealed this week, "I couldn't resist the opportunity to take a hard swing in his direction," he said. "Make no mistake, this came from a place of loathing and anger," MacFarlane added. "There is nothing more abhorrent and indefensible than abuse of power such as this. I respect and applaud my friend Jessica and those sharing their stories for their decision to come forward and for being champions of the truth."